Welcome very, very much to Conversations, a dear old friend of Conversations and the world, that being the eminent actor, writer, and
artist, musician.
Artist. Frank Craven of the illustrious Craven family. Frank, it's so good to see you again. We're getting noise in here. You might want to cut off. We're getting noise. Maybe you should stop that tape that's running, and we could keep going. If you stop the tape, it's coming in on the. Okay. I don't quite understand why. Okay, there we go. So we were running a tape. We're going to run later. So we'll just roll with the flow, as I say, or go with the flow.
Are we taping still? Yeah, taping? I'm going to start over.
Yeah, no, it'll be all right. And so we'll it's just a test we were doing. We're going to air that a little later. Anyway, Frankie, give us a quick rundown on your family, okay? Not real long, not long. I know it goes on and on, but then we're going to talk about...
Good. Okay, good. Let's start over.
I'm getting worried about we're going to run late. Because everything has to be done on time, and if you're late, then you can't make the copy. And
It'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's up to date in Kansas City.
Quiet on the set, please.
They've gone about as far as they can go. They went and built a skyscraper. Okay, really good to see you, Frank, and so good, I'm going to be talking about all kinds of things. You got all kinds of things, New York Times and stock occupancy, all kinds of things. And in the audience, welcome very much to Conversations, a dear friend of mine and the world, and out of that illustrious theater family, the Cravens, it's Frank Craven. He's a producer here. He's an actor, a writer, and an artist, and he's also a producer of... What's Ailing and Healing in America, which is a major television event as far as Manhattan Neighborhood Network is concerned. And he comes out of an illustrious family. He's always got 1,000 irons in the fire in all aspects of the human condition. And Frank, welcome. It's so good. Always.
Thank you, Harold. Good to see you.
So
God bless you.
Always good to see you, Frank. Always good. And I want you, if you would, just in a brief way, because it's so long, it could go on your family. Share a little bit of your family background that you have out of the. It goes back.
Well,
into the
my
dark
dad
ages
taught me
of
high
theater.
school and drama in high school because he was a lead actor on Broadway and did a lot of TV shows. The first, The Egg and I, and he opened the original George in our town. And my grandfather was famous for being the pipe-smoking character actor who was the stage manager of our town. Plus various, he wrote Laurel and Hardy movies and lots of MGM and Columbia films.
Now that was Frank.
My grandfather, Frank.
Your
Craven. My great-grandfather, his dad, John T. Booth, John T. Craven had playbills with Edmund Booth, Jeff Jefferson. I come from a long line of actors.
Actors, the whole family. And if I'm not mistaken, you have a situation where John would have a son named Frank, Frank would have a son named John, John would have a friend, and Frank, and it goes on.
Now I'm looking for a little sweetheart to give me a Johnny.
And your grandfather was a major motion picture actor, was friends with W.C. Fields, among others.
Oh, yeah.
And your mother, and all of that. And
you see a picture of him in the Players Club?
I did. I've seen that. I saw the one, that Hirschfield thing you have of him with a letter from W.C. Fields to your mother saying, how did that reprobate ever get such a fine lady and so forth? Great,
Well, with Eskimo trouble.
So anyway, you're out of the theater and so forth, but you also
I've
have
staged
like,
a number of plays myself. They're at the Lincoln Center Library in the video collection.
They are. Okay,
yeah, and then
that's
later
good.
on I want to do a Roland from The Clothes Make the Man, which is in verse. It's one of my magnum opuses. It's a wonderful play, staged twice. Made an award-winning little film out of it.
Yeah.
And it's all in verse, and it's in various languages.
Yeah.
I just played Uncle Vanya, actually, in the Scary Creek Players up in the
You're
Catskills.
going a little fast now. Let me hold it up so you can come in on
Well,
it.
the show's
okay?
closed now. But
Yeah, it's closed. He played in this, and he also had the play you shot it upstate. The
Yeah.
Man Makes the Clothes.
The Clothes Make
With
the Man.
Maggie, the clothes make the man.
Yeah, make.
And that was written by you in verse.
Right.
Yeah, and it was like, it was really, so you write,
Yeah.
and you present it, and you're involved in the theater, and you also paint, and you've also got a wide ranging interest in things spiritual. You're very in touch lately, if I'm not mistaken, with some of our American indigenous cultures.
Oh, yeah.
The cultures, you've become particularly interested in
Well,
that.
I've always, the native people stopped on my land and made a medicine wheel, and every full moon I've been doing, for the past couple of years, full moon medicine wheel, fire ceremony, and working with sweat lodges. I'm shocked to see today's New York Times, this guy, this knucklehead, charging $10,000 for a vision quest, where you sit for like 3 or 4 days without food, just trying to find your vision. It's very spiritual, and he's charging, and then a sweat lodge, and 3 people died. He doesn't know what he's doing, he's a white man, he's not a native person. It's very
like
sacred
a new age
to...
scam sort of
yeah,
thing. It sounds
unfortunately.
like where people take advantage of people wanting to get
Yeah.
into new consciousness and everything. You've been interested in that a long time?
Well, yeah,
Sweat lodges and American
part of my
Indians.
mission in
Yeah.
life is to bring healing about onto the planet, and I'm also healing the rift between the native people and the white folks.
That's a
And-
big rift.
Well, that's over now.
You think it is?
Oh, yeah, because God Almighty is ever present, and this great spirit knows what's going on. And the people of humble heart and good intentions respect gardening and Mother Earth and respect nature and the elements. And the native people, that's the native way, that we're all one tribe and we're all connected to Source, and there's one great spirit that rules us. And so there's good people and there's bad people, and it's basically, I don't know, socialism and capitalism. I don't know, selfishness or selflessness. You work for the community, you work for your own self.
Yeah.
It's a basic inherent spiritual paradigm. And thank you, Obama, for watching this show today. I'm happy. I had to wait 25 minutes to cross the street. You live in paranoia. It's ridiculous. These presidents. We inherited a criminal regime, and now he continues with his bombing in Afghanistan. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
see? I'm very
It's absurd.
concerned
I
about
love
what's
it.
going
We had
on.
Obama fever and change, but where's
Yeah.
the change?
What do you
Unfortunately.
think? Yeah, that's a big question before us now, whether or not there's going to be a change or not.
Well, it's
And,
obviously not to change. Like there's a big fever when Bush was defeated and Clinton took over. Ooh, ooh. But again, Clinton proved himself with Janet Reno and Oklahoma City as another New World Order clone who's just fooling us and for corporate profits and stuff. Versus Jimmy Carter, who had real peace and a peace agenda with solar panels on the White House and a real. And my argument for 9/11 truth, when anyone says, "Oh, what the hell's going on with 9/11?" Here it is. This is an argument. You don't have to.
That's an ingot. That's a steel ingot.
Yeah,
huh?
well, this
Is that
doesn't turn
similar
to dust within 10 seconds. It's just a solid steel, Concrete turns to lava. I used to be a concrete inspector, and I'd test rebars and the cylinders, and it's obvious that within 10 seconds those big buildings disappeared, and so it's ridiculous. Give us a break. And we're being bamboozled by this foolish criminal government of the Bush regime that has a war agenda. And it's absurd. Like here on today's paper, the answer to all the problems are basically this. The reason we have all these problems is like, it says it right here. $13 an hour. 500 signed up in Salt Lake City, Utah.
What are you talking
500 people signed up for a job.
Yeah.
And they wonder about the job. They're desperate for work. They want to work. Why? The quote I saw yesterday in Amy Goodman's Democracy Now! Military budget, $704 billion for 2010. $704 billion a year for the Pentagon, death and destruction. Meanwhile, people are begging for jobs and there's foreclosures. It's so ridiculous. We live in a complete burnt out foolishness of not true priorities. And people like this who are charging for sweat lodges and things, it's just taking the spirituality and changing it. But I find great peace in planting a tree and sitting with a fire, meditating, grounding the light, and obviously we're spirit. God exists, and I know you have difficulty with that, but remember years ago you were in my medicine wheel, and I put a dead stick in your hand and a live worm, and I said, see, they look the same, but the worm wiggles. There's spirit.
That was upstate, yeah.
Yeah, spirit
I remember
moves
that,
everything.
Yeah.
So what's our spirit? That's real.
Have you always had this spiritual thing in your early life and everything?
Yeah. Well, I was visited by Jesus when I was beaten up by some kids and I was in trouble, and I asked the Lord, and the Lord came to me. Another time when I was jilted by my first wife and I wanted to beat this guy up, and then all of a sudden the Lord came to me and I realized I want to forgive him and love her. And there's the times when the Lord and the Spirit of God comes to you and you have epiphany and you're wakened up to the truth of God's light. And I'm furthermore involved in the... I became a Reverend Minister, and I have a...
That's right, you are, yeah.
Yeah, the Sacred Light Fellowship is a place where I worship. It's based on A Course in Miracles. And I'm helping to organize this, the Pachamama Alliance. They're doing the Awakening the Dreamer, Changing the Dream.
Right.
Which is happening December 12th.
That Course in Miracles is a major book and a major movement.
But not only that, but Starseed Dialogues, Family of Light, stuff by Barbara Hand Cloud, Barbara Marciniak, all kinds of amazing information are coming forth to teach us that we are cosmic, intergalactic, spiritual beings. We're not only international ambassadors today, now we're speaking and praying for Iraq and Afghanistan and peace in the world, and remembering that we are, want peace in the world. Well, God bless Rachel Corrie. She's the one who should have gotten the Pulitzer Prize, and people that stand peace.
I think you mean the Nobel Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize. What is Obama and killing people in Afghanistan? You know what the problem is? He will authorize the longest running war in this America's ever had. America, 8 years in Vietnam, now almost 9 years with Afghanistan. So he's the commander-in-chief. The troops go this way or that way. So here he is, the president of the longest running war in the history of America. He's got a police prize? Give me a break. It's a silly... We're bamboozled. It's crazy. It's insane.
Well, that's sort of a summary of a lot of different things. You could go in a lot of different directions, about hours in each direction.
Well, no, it's
that's like a pinwheel. You take your choice, man.
The ailing, the healing. There's a problem and there's a solution.
Yeah, and you're doing what's ailing, healing America, and all that. You used to write, and you write beautifully, if I may say so. When you're writing on things like when you were writing for Indio.
Oh yeah, the street news. I had the articles.
You had a column that you used to dash off and everything, and it was always so well written.
Really
well written and very literate and very to the point. And you're a really good writer in that regard.
Appreciate that. I have about 12 plays I've staged too. At the Lincoln Center Library.
How many of those have you written?
Oh, my plays that I've written on stage. Yeah, equity approved showcases and stuff.
Equity approved showcases.
Yeah, that means the unions approved of it, and we charged admission, and people came.
So it's a bit. That's part of the thing. Yeah, your family's all involved in it. You're involved in it, like different than an amateur person who's trying to do acting and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess so. My grandfather was obviously a far more successful playwright, producer, director. He was a lot of shows on Broadway. Oh,
he was playwright.
He had about 13 hits on Broadway in the 20s and
30s. He would have been like a star.
He was a star.
Yeah, he was a star. He was a major star.
He was one of America's most popular actors.
Did he win an award for that thing in our town? He played the narrator, didn't he? Or
the stage manager.
No, but he played the role in the film, Our Town.
Oh, yeah, in the film, yeah.
And he won an award for that, or did not? Or was he nominated?
I don't know. It was a Pulitzer Prize-winning play. Thornton Wilder got it.
Yeah, right.
But my grandfather ghost wrote a lot of stuff. Did the Laurel and Hardy comedies, whatever.
Now you're concerned with a lot of things like peace and spirituality and love and what's healing and everything. Do you think the people in the theater or in the arts tend to be of that nature? Their view that would roll up into a pattern that would be generally seen as, at the minimum, progressive, and at the maximum, revolutionarily progressive. You understand? Do you think the people in the arts tend to be that way more than people that are ensconced within the hardcore business accounting world and so forth? Or the artists tend to be progressive in your experience?
Yeah. You got to be creative and flow.
You got to be creative.
And accept the abstract as a reality, because sense of humor is everything. And theater, the comedy is having a good time. We're anxious to have a good time.
And in life too. It gives you a thing like that. But you seem to be, okay, Obama, you're talking specifically about Obama, and that's very much, he's now, at this moment, while you and I sit and talk, he is thinking very hard about what they're going to do in Afghanistan, it seems to me. I don't think he's
nothing to think about. Give those poor people a break. Leave them alone. Love them. Send them, but he's inherited this military monster. And then, like this painting, Pray for Iraq, you know.
Yeah, that's a major painting you did.
Yeah, I made copies, postcards. I did it for Obama. Change we can believe in. World peace. Diplomacy, not bombs.
Are you old? You're old enough to have been involved in the Vietnam protest?
Well, I grew up in Spain, so I speak Spanish. My parents didn't want me to go to Vietnam. I would have been drafted then. Right when I graduated high school, I would have been eligible. I was in Europe. But they had thankfully closed down that fiasco. And it was completely scary and ridiculous to bomb the jungles of Vietnam, bomb the deserts of Persian Gulf. But when you bomb the sacred land of Abraham, you're destroying World Heritage sites. It's so shocking and horrible. The shock and awe thing.
Yeah.
And to think the sacred lands of Pakistan with drones and the caves of the Afghan mountains, it's my heart is broken. The world has a broken heart. We believed in Obama, we believed in peace and diplomacy, and we've got this knucklehead that's unfortunately part of the New World Order.
So you've completely lost faith in Obama?
No, I haven't completely.
He's down to about
my
15.
faith, my prayer, dear God, is that he wakes up the spirit and within the middle of the cesspool brings the pillar of light. And we always pray for the peaceful pillar of light to bring forth. Like I realize, I see he's just beginning allowing medical marijuana, lifting the federal laws against that. And Michelle in the springtime tore up the green lawn and made an organic farm. And that's so slowly but surely he's going to bring about the change that we need. And we have faith in Obama will shift consciousness.
Do you think we have a change that's needed? I was talking with a friend who thinks there's going to be a paradigm shift. And I said, we're going to show a movie at our ACAP meeting next Monday. It's going to be after this program will air the day after that. But it's part of a thing called the Zeitgeist Movement movie addendum. And it's a very idealistic kind of thing. And she said we need a paradigm shift.
We do.
And we're taking a long view. Did you see, Frank, where the Ardipithecus, have you been able to run down that new fossil they found?
No, but Zeitgeist is great. And we definitely have the solutions. And I want to share with you a new painting I recently did.
All right.
That will help talking about paradigm shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh,
it's
that's oil?
Yeah. Well, no, it's an acrylic painting.
It's acrylic. Okay.
And it's called 7 portals in which to wrap my head around. A concept.
Now
and it's the idea of 7 portals,
that's
eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, and the energy bands that circulate around our head. You know, we're like extraterrestrial energy beings.
Yeah,
and we're a concept. The paradigm shift is I am a spirit. We are a spirit borrowing a body. And this is what art does. It helps you shift consciousness and recognize we're eternal divine energy. Like I was talking to one of my girlfriends about the fact that I used to be a woman years ago. I'm talking about 400 years ago. But I had a past life regression energy connection to being an abused woman. And I'm not into abusing women. I can sympathize with women. And women are in their power, you know. And we need to recognize that and know that we have soul memory. We are really cosmic beings, you know. And there's no secrets according to God. So we have direct connection to the Almighty Source. We just live in denial. We constantly watch TV and say, no, no, no. And like this, you know, you can't argue against this. The whole world knows 9/11 is a joke. Come on, wake up. But they're still like, oh, no, don't mention 9/11 or, you know, whatever. It's we live in this, what the Hindus call Maya illusion. It's a fantasy. It's a dream.
I would repair to a thing, and people who watch the program who are sick of hearing it, but it's Daedalus Joyce having Daedalus say, history is a nightmare from which I'm attempting to awaken. That's in the Wake, I think. You like that thing?
History is a nightmare from which I'm trying to awaken?
From which I'm attempting to awaken.
Who said that?
That's James Joyce.
Oh, okay.
James Joyce is a pretty good poet.
Yeah, he wrote that. It's stream of consciousness.
And he was really very good at understanding the implications of technology on consciousness. He was really good. Marshall McLuhan just worshipped at his work and so forth. And that's an interesting thing. And I asked you before, Ardipithecus, you're not into that, or
into what?
It's been all over the press now. You'll be getting it. Ardipithecus.
What is that about?
Ardipithecus is a fossil, 11 years of research with people that is found in Afghanistan. Goes back 700,000 years before Lucy in terms of evolution. Presume we believe in evolution and so forth. That it's along
That's right.
I don't understand that.
Well, anyway, I believe we're star-seeded energy from extraterrestrial intergalactic community. I didn't think I came from amoeba or from some ape. I came from God, from somewhere. But you know what? Doesn't matter. It's a moot point. Wherever we came from, 50,000 or 50 million or 500 million years ago, we are here right now.
I think we have
this whole paradigm shift energy is happening now. We can go as far as we give ourselves permission to.
With all due respect,
our imagination is our key.
Right. Okay. But and everything is one seamless web. Everything is interconnected to everything else
Correct.
in the universe as we understand it. But when you say we, that could be like New York, that could be United States, that could be humanity, whatever. But we, that's the Homo sapien. We pretty well know when Homo sapien evolved.
Well, yeah, if you go to the Museum of Natural History, they give you beautiful displays, and we applaud that. Just like hundreds of years ago, they thought the world was flat, and who knows, they applaud this and applaud that. It doesn't really matter in the final analysis whether the Big Bang exists or whether we evolved from amoebas or this, that, or the other thing. What matters is how do we act now? How are we vibrating? What's our frequency? Are we making people happy or sad? Are we solving a problem or are we causing problems? And obviously a president that allows bombing in Afghanistan and accepts a peace prize instead of giving it to witnesses for peace like Rachel Corrie and other people that stand their ground and are real heroes for peace. We live in like Michael Moore come out with this movie Capitalism.
Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, constantly.
Is it good? Is it good?
Oh, it's so funny.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it.
Wait, where's the paper?
And the newspaper? I don't know. It got thrown over somewhere.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Today's paper again. This is something I want to point out. It's very funny.
Okay.
13 an hour. 500 people show up. One job.
Uh-huh.
What's going on in your Salt Lake, Utah? Give me a break. I mean, I worked for a year with a corporation, and look at this. You can zoom in on it. I worked over 60, 70 hours, and they didn't want to give me overtime, just said 39.9, and they gave me 0. It was a waiter, you know? It was like ridiculous.
You worked how many hours?
About 70 hours. I did. It was the first in the morning, the last man standing. It was during the holiday season. No one wanted to work.
How many hours?
About 65.
About 65
They say
hours.
39. And they gave me 0 because I made a lot of tips and everything. So I did. I made good money, but so what? It's just I'm saying corporate America and their priorities of spending $704 billion a year in the 2010 budget just for the Pentagon.
They're going to spend $1 trillion on health care. And I don't think the budget, I don't think it's that high as it has been in the past in terms of gross domestic product, the military budget. The percentage of it isn't as high as it has been in other times.
Well, we need a moratorium. Just forget about it. Stop it. It's ridiculous. And I don't want obligated health care either or insurance because then they can force their drugs on you. The whole problem is psychotropic drugs. They outlaw natural weeds and then they force these pseudo drugs on you and they create a little more homicides and suicides. They like a violent society, world empire and all that. But
well, I mean, that's a thing. Anyway, they're going to show the Zeitgeist thing, and Barbara Rosenfeld, who really wants us to do that, we're going to be in touch with them. They're going to stream it on their sites around there. They got it's idealistic, a very idealistic view of along the lines.
No, it's a practical view, Harold. Well, there's a solution. We're in a major crisis here. Lack of food, genetic engineered crops. That's like an insult to God and Mother Nature. The fast food nation, the sickness of the priorities of the money, the government. Here we have web streaming, we have communication, we have dynamics, we have freedom. Our elections were stolen in 2000 and 2004 by this thief, and Obama's carrying on the criminal government, New World Order, and versus accepting 9/11 truth and diplomacy and peace and resolution. The commander-in-chief sends the troops one way or the other. So why do we have to not listen to the Vox Populi of Iraq?
Anyway, she said something about how it's going to be signaling a paradigm shift, and I said to her, it's a paradigm of paradigms.
My paradigm has shifted. So have you. That's why we're here.
Well,
people viewing, too, you have totally shifted consciousness because they want to tune into non-commercial, true news information. They have an intellectual appetite.
Well, back again, trying to get focused on it, you said you used the term we, and that'd be Homo sapien species, and we know, at least, I don't understand, you don't understand evolution, I don't understand that, but I mean, we obviously evolved.
I didn't say that, I said I don't claim to know it or worry about it, and I don't have faith in it, because it's millions of years old. But what's important is that 5,000 years ago, Krishna came, Moses came, they taught us the way. A couple thousand years ago, Jesus taught us the way.
Not 5,000, it was 2,500.
Yeshua, 2,000, and Moses, 5,000. They taught us the way of God, and we are here. You are God incarnate. I am God. I am a multidimensional, intergalactic, spiritual being, borrowing a body, having fun, looking to create solutions in this planet, a healing place. It's a joyride. Our synergy is recycled. We're spiritual energy, and the karma's over. We're in the 2000. Don't you understand? Like when the Lord said, This, two, and more you will do, the miracles. Well, what did he do? He raised the sick, healed the blind, and all this. Well, what have they done now? They've done artificial hearts, walked on the moon, split the atom. Mankind has evolved to major miracles. And we are in the new paradigm shift. We are in the new reality. Now that we've mapped the DNA and the gene code, we know what the father is, the paternity, all the old school thinking, the enemy is over the hill, we must defend, and the glorious war, it's over. The whole shift, consciousness is shifting thanks to internet, satellite TV, communication, television, telephone. We can communicate. We know brothers and sisters, and we know that we're in a whole new consciousness, technological, spiritual paradise. We live in paradise, and we create whatever we are the electromagnetic force of our reality, of what our belief is.
And we always have been?
No, we've always been subject to the authority that has told us, and to this day, the old school thinking, that authority versus majority, that they're going to run us over. But we're smarter than they are. We know that we are the authority, and that's what the Commanding Wealth Seminar this weekend, or the 30th at the Meta Center. Commandwealth.com is an interesting event I'm helping with, and I believe in that we are the command. We are the command center, the secret, taking the next level. We create a reality.
Who's the we?
We are collective consciousness, our great spirit. I talk about my guardian angels, our reality, that we, human beings. I am the President of the United States. I sound crazy saying that, but excuse me, I have to wait 25 minutes for him to pass, and I have to go to the hospital or go to M&N.
Ties up traffic terrible when he comes.
I'm out of Iraq. I'm shaking hands with the Afghanis with computers and food versus guns and bullets and bombs.
And American indigenous people, too.
So these paranoid fools like Bush, Cheney, and Obama now live in their paranoia in their bulletproof limousines, surrounded in bodyguards, and they go about their business. They think they're big war, and they think they're making the world safe. Instead of being free and saying, yeah, we want to have freedom, we want peace. And there is no more terrorism. Wherever they're burning our American flag, it's because we're bombing and bulletsing them. But, action, reaction. Everyone wants peace. War is against every normal cell of survival in human existence. And we know that. The government knows it too, and they're trying to mind control people by watching TV and buy cars and upkeep the New World Order, the empire of, the capitalism afloat. But it's falling apart at the seams. People are waking up, knowing that we're brothers and sisters.
And the people are fighting to get a 13...
and tons of books are coming out. Course in Miracles, all these other, light channeled energy of the Bible, the reality of I've got a book, 2 Comedies I got at Amazon.com, which are comedies, but pokes fun at religious fanaticism. But spirituality, we all have it. We all know the deal. We know everything. We actually are masters incarnate. We are all enlightened, but we don't want to think about it. We live in denial. We don't want to seize our power. But when we really start seizing our power, we breathe the mana of sunshine, energy, breatharian, yogis, masters. We can do 10 times more than we think we can. If we have faith, we work with God, we work with the angels, and our own inner power inside of us. And whatever we really focus on becomes more clear and real.
Well, that's quite a mouthful. There's quite a lot there. It's hey, you've been interested in this spiritual thing and the thing of seeing this united way and taking that kind of thing.
It's the only reality.
Your whole life, or did you have an epiphany or something? You come to that when you were young?
It's always been pretty clear to me. I'm just a visitor here. I am an Earth custodian. I do love my planet, and I do gardening, and
I know that
all the time. I love to work with the planet Earth and plant fruit trees wherever I can. But the important thing is that I've always been a nature kid. But the important thing is that we are connected spiritually. We are spirit. We are masters. I come from a beautiful family, and I was cultured and I'm educated, so I'm able to speak languages and travel and have a better perspective on this.
You were just in Turkey recently.
I travel. I love to go to Mexico, Morocco, or Spain, whatever. But that doesn't matter. The important thing is that we all have this perspective in our heart that we are, especially as New Yorkers, my brothers and sisters, my neighbors are Iraqis, Africans, Chinese. So what? We're all brothers and sisters.
Is there anyone in particular that you've been inspired by among all the gurus or among all the spiritual leaders or people?
The man in the mirror when I'm tripping on acid. When I was a kid, I don't know, awaken to see the light, the angels, the spirit, that one particular. I don't have any hero, but I accept myself. I keep trying to prove myself to myself, and everyone. That's as far as I can go within the. When you're trying to do your homework when you're a kid, and you try to do your work, and you have a work ethic, and everyone, I of course love my dad and my, whatever, people that, in my life, and I admire you. You know, your stamina of doing the show of every day. You know, it's like amazing. You know, I've been doing my show every week for 10 years. What's Ellen Hill America? Amazing. I don't know. I just got to keep going. You know, we're all trying to be our own hero. I mean, no, there's sheep mentality. People like to watch TV and surrender their control and their power. I don't. I like to be in, you know, have my own art, music, and keep going my own stuff.
Yeah.
But we all have that within us, and if we give ourselves attention, but we spend time complaining versus finding our blessings and saying thank you and trying to...
Why don't people find that all inside of them, and why don't we have each person being able to be imbued with that sense of... It would be like a sense of purpose or a sense of direction or a sense of the reason for being or something. But a lot of people don't. Why do so many people not have that, do you think?
Because like my dad said years ago, if you want to play the game, you got to know the rules.
The game.
Every game has rules.
The game of life. So.
Yeah, and it's like you want to play the game, you just got to follow your rules. So your rules are your denial of your power. You know, but if you started... So you play the game, you're fine, you're entitled. You're welcome to do whatever you want, you know. And granted, a guy who thinks he's Napoleon, maybe speaks French and is babbling and incoherently, and he belongs in the loony bin. But you know what? His reality is le franc, vive la France. And he's in his own little world. And does that make him any less or more crazy than a man in the White House who thinks it's good to bomb or send drones into Pakistan or Afghanistan? That's insane.
You ever see
the people, the 500 people have to line up for one job, and we, you know, the states are tightening their budgets, and meanwhile they're giving carte blanche to death and destruction in the military. Why, for God's sakes? We live in safety and freedom, and all this paranoia and terror is absurd. And to not allow for 9/11 truth to come to the forefront of our conscience. Hello, wake up! Paradigm shift. That's what we're saying. Paradigm shift. We're bamboozled and mind controlled by a stupidity. We love stupidity. That's the game. I live my stupidity. I must drink my beer and drink my hamburgers and have my, fast car and get into further debt.
Drink a hamburger?
Whatever. I don't know. It's nonsense, absurdity. Belief.
You ever look at movies? You're in business. You're making movies and you're doing it. But you ever see a movie called The King of Hearts?
No, but I saw Moon last night. It was about the clone escaping the clones.
You never saw The King of Hearts?
No.
You haven't? You got to be kidding me. You've never seen the movie with Alan Bates?
Painfully ignorant. Sorry. Can't see every movie.
Oh, you want to see it?
Okay.
I'm going to do you a favor. You want to get it from Netflix or something?
All right.
King of Hearts.
All right, Captain.
I won't say any more except people in the audience will know of what I talk because it's where you'll see that movie. It's like that sort of thing. Are you optimistic for the human prospect?
Absolutely.
You are.
Of course, you have to be, man. God bless us. The sun shines. Love is ever present. The truth is ever present. We live in denial of our power. We live in denial of God and the Lord and the messages of love. Everything's about love, and if you don't know about it, then you're a fool, and you're in your worried about your food or your senses or your money, your identity. Everyone's into their frustration, and they create their game going.
Yeah, part of that.
I might have problems or whatever, but I don't carry them with me. I try to make people happy.
You're not saying that because you're okay, that means everybody's okay? Because you're okay?
No, I'm just saying, even if I'm not okay, I'm not going to bring my grievances to the table.
No, not your grievances.
Carry the world on my shoulders and feel all the world's messed up.
What about the grievances?
I am the pillar of light. I heal the world. My holiness, I am enlightened. My holiness blesses the world. I know I am, because I make people smile and happy. Wherever you go, people say thank you and are happy to see me.
Right.
And I make you enlightened. And everyone's light because I'm light, And guess what? Money flows. I don't have enough money, so what? But I'm generous. And it all works out. It's just a question of being light versus being dark. That's what light is. What is a light? It's a light. It's shiny. Makes people happy. Play music, be arty, have funny. I mean, I'm a little over the top now and speaking a lot, and sometimes a little too much. And of course, I'm.
Well, you got a lot of thoughts rolling through you there.
Yeah, I can be obnoxious and absurd, and people can dislike me, and many people have criticized me. And that's fine. People love to criticize, and that's fine.
People have criticized you?
Well, of course, everyone, especially family criticizing. People
family,
and feed off criticism. They feed off the negativity, But I feed off the positivity. When I was in this waiter business, my measure of success is not how much money in my pocket, but how many times I heard thank you or laughter. And that was a good day for me. Because that's what the vibration's about. Creating a reality, making people happy.
You think you form your own reality?
Well, No, God and the truth.
Jane Roberts used to say that, or Seth.
Okay.
You form your own reality. There are others of the
yes, we do.
psychic thing and everything
No,
like that.
we are the co-creators of the universe. We're energized in the third dimension. We're limited by gravity and certain material bonds of physical constructs. But in reality, we're spirits that are divine, eternal, and energized into the highest, as high and holiest of holy. And we're allowed to go as far as our imagination gives us permission to.
Individually.
And everyone's like stuck on their own negative thinking or their own little box, or let television do the thinking for them.
So you think that it's possible for an individual to be liberated within a social and political and economic and cultural and spiritual
Indeed,
realm?
we're going to, whether we like it or not. The wave of energy, that's what this whole paradigm shift is about.
Well,
we're waking up. America's waking up.
You believe in somebody can live in an alienating world in terms of political, economic realities and so forth, and yet there can be some people who can be liberated from all that and not being concerned about the plight of the people who are not liberated? You believe in individual liberation is something you put a circle around yourself and then you can be liberated in an unliberated world? I'm trying to understand. Or do you think
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I do know that in a given moment, yes, I have in my consciousness the starving people of Africa.
Well, what about that?
Hungry people on the
you know
street.
that. That's how do you deal with that?
I mean,
suppose you were somebody.
And I'm no more better than them when it comes to God's light. Everyone is beautiful. I mean,
think
of course.
Garth brought it up or something. You're free, and you've got everything you need and everything, and you're outside of a place and no ability to influence it, and they're taking and putting, just to make the example, they're taking and putting hundreds of people into an oven to be roasted because they hate those people, and there's nothing you can do about it. You feel fine, even though there's all this injustice on others. It doesn't have anything to do with your situation, but you can live individually liberated and fancy-free in a world where most of the people are enslaved. And that doesn't bother you that the people are?
Well,
or the other creatures, or all the
God bless the people
negativity?
that are in the monasteries praying and bringing about health and praying for peace. I personally cannot live that way. I got to go to Washington, D.C. and rally and petition and put on what's ailing in America and report on this and plant food trays and combat Monsanto as best I can and combat and try to denounce Obama if he's going to carry on with the Bush regime and not rescind the Patriot Act and really step up to help us liberate us from this construct, this lie, this bamboozle the government has that is oppressing all of us and creating economic strife and bailing out the banks with private, public money and
you
private
seem to have
corporations.
As I'm
it's
saying,
absurd.
Yeah, but you got it both ways.
I'm very agitated and worried.
Yeah, but so the world is very much poised on the edge of, actually, I think they believe, there's studies, you can only do modeling and everything, but I think they're poised on the point of where there could be an unleashing of hatred that existed in the world.
Hatred
motivates a lot of human behavior.
Hatred and anger. There's no place in heaven for hatred and anger.
It's been done. You're not heaven on earth yet. You're not heaven on earth.
I am heaven on earth. I live in heaven. I live in paradise.
Even though
my world is in peace, my friends are good. The people who sit at my table are good. I was invited to Clinton's inauguration. I could have gone to maybe Obama's, but I'm not going to sit with these people. I'm sorry. I caught a little bit of Obama fever and was glad for him. I voted for Cynthia McKinney, the Green Party, but I wanted truth. But, in a given moment, I'm not interested in these people in New World Order. I can't sit with Cheney and these people who authorize torture. Close down Guantanamo. Let those people go home. It's all, these people are murderers. And billionaire Bloomberg is stepping over. There's 40,000 homeless people in this city. He's not happy being a billionaire. He has to be a multi-billionaire. This person's a reptile. He's a monster. He's an out-of-control freak. Now, of course, I'm an out-of-control freak in my way, my sense of justice and truth and light and peace. But these politicians that get in power and ride the gravy train off tax money and think they're doing right, it's a bamboozle. It's totally ridiculous.
Frankie, let me ask you something.
We
just played a program before this one aired, the day before, with Niles Eldridge. She's the one who, with Stephen Jay Gould, came up with the idea of punctuated equilibrium. Whoa. But evolution's going on and everything. And hasn't it always been, Frank, historically, where you have a few people who have all the power to intimidate others?
Throughout history, the royal family says, "Go off to war, make me rich, and enrich my kingdom." 30 versus the majority. That's a play I staged years ago, and I still advocate the truth that the 30 is trying to rip us off, and the majority pretending to represent the majority, but they don't.
And it doesn't bother you that so much of the world is enslaved by so few people?
Of course it bothers me. That's why I put on my show when I go about my business and try to sing songs about it, do artwork about it.
So then you're not, you believe in the idea of individual liberation.
Well, I'm
here to liberate in an unliberated world. You're not
I'm liberated. I am free. My patriotic duty is to maintain human rights and the vigil and to speak out against oppression and authority versus majority and torture and war and malfeasance as I see it. The criminals in the White House have to be replaced. And I'm sorry, this kind of whole media too, are totally blanking out on Oklahoma City and the first World Trade Center bombing and Matt Salin, he was an FBI informant, and then the second World Trade Center bombing. All this stuff is so absurd that I'm here on public access trying to make people aware. They say, hello, my little lone voice of truth. And that's, as I say it, of course I may be wrong, and I probably am, but in reality, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that 9/11 truth and the whole the pseudo war business and the whole justification for a lot of these wars are all false flag operations.
Thank you. False flag should be understood more. False flag things. They've been going out there. But what I'm trying to get at is it's been like that throughout all of history.
Yeah, well,
there's always a few people who run everything.
Yeah, but they don't run me.
What has changed?
I'm a free man.
What has? Okay, then we had free men in the reign of.
And if I die because of them, that's fine. I have a good.
And it's just up to the individual to say they're free. They
we're all free. So this whole disease thing, SARS and vaccine. Don't take vaccine, folks. Nature provides for every poisonous plant there is the antidote nearby. And you want healing, you take oregano oil, and you take some natural hemp oil, and you take good stuff that is good for you. Nature provides, and God doesn't want us to die, but the government does. They have all kinds of germ warfare and secret things.
Do you realize? That I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's something like 99% of the species that have ever existed died out.
Well, yeah, okay,
we're one. Okay,
well,
and you say nature never dies. Most of nature has died and is left behind.
We were not born to be sick. We're born to be healthy and have a birthright
Why?
to be healthy.
Why were we?
To enjoy ourselves, to come in and face the act.
Why were we born to be that?
This is spiritual. Because we have all eternity at our disposal. We have millions of years. We have hundreds of billions of years. We have eternity. We're spiritual energy that are borrowing a body in the third dimension, this beautiful planet Earth, which is now coming out of the Kali Yuga and coming out from the era of darkness into the era of light and enlightenment. All of a sudden, exponentially, we're expanding consciousness, technology, bim, bam, boom. Everything is becoming awakened, and it's wonderful.
You think it is? We have a rendezvous with 2012. Do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do. We do. That's Mayan, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm here. I'm 2012. It is. I am waking you. I'm awake, and people are waking up. They're going to be like on an acid trip, or a yogi, or meditation, after fasting. They'll have their vision. They'll be awakened to the fact that they are light. They are energy.
And you think in that process of that awakening, that would be like what I just mentioned to you, Niall Eldridge. He and Stephen Gray Gould came up with the idea that a change in evolutionary terms is done through a process of quantitative change within a relatively steady state, and then it comes up to what they call punctuated equilibrium, and that's when there's a new species, a new form appears. That we may be at a moment of transcending.
We are, definitely at that
Homo
moment.
sapien, as far as we can best understand it, as a species of which we're all one system, and that's nested within larger systems, of course, and everything, right on into the universe, but we're one system, and it's about 200,000 years ago that this arterial, and the line that follows that we along the hominoid line is this Ardipithecus they just came up with 700,000 years earlier than Lucy, and Lucy was not on our line. We're coming to understand that. So we're closing quotes on the evolution of the Homo sapien and the consciousness, and we're coming into a new relationship to the universe, perhaps, and that would be, people would say it's going to take forever because you got all these outdated institutions. If there's a qualitative change at the level of capability because of the technology, it would come, but in punctuated equilibrium, you have quantitative change, and then very quickly, it's like a birth, the new appears. It appears all at once. So this idea that things could change.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
And it's a paradigm of paradigms shift because it's like new.
Yeah,
we're coming. You think
we're going to wake up? We're going to recognize ourselves as intergalactic, spiritual, cosmic beings that are eternal and divine and manifest. And there might be physical catastrophe on the planetary changes giving birth. There's going to be a lot of water, a lot of catastrophe. But so
water? What do you mean water?
Like Katrina, the water. They're shifting the shores, the planet's shifting, and the human beings and the relation to one another is going to shift.
I was stuck back in the thing that we're in the birth canal. In this evolutionary sense, we're in the birth canal, and there's no way on the spiritual side, and you throw out things like spiritual this and that and God and all this kind of stuff, and that's like taking the measure of the universe, it seems to me, in a way that is not able, because the universe is a priori mystery and it's synergetic, and there are understanding something more than the sum of the parts. And you can't know what that is.
You can't. I can. Anyone who gives themselves permission can, because we have our imagination is the creative bridge to whatever we decide we can play.
Well, you could have imagined that in a Cro-Magnon cave and so forth, but they had to go through a process. We had to go through a process, and we can't know. And I don't know about this individual thing. It seems like all we have are the tubas playing in the orchestra of the human society. They're making a very large sound, and it's all in corporate media and corporate interest and everything, and we don't hear the timpani, we don't hear the this, we don't hear everybody. And there's a different things if you got a collective, unified, every single, let's say, human being within a larger order is able to realize their full potential rather than just a few people like Napoleon saying, I'm liberated, or I'm strong, or something like that. But you're going to have a thing that's synergistic. You're going to include both the male principle, female principle, and there's going to be a united kind of liberation of everybody with it, so that all instruments in the orchestra are able to play their own song, which so many cannot now yet.
In harmony together?
In harmony together like an orchestra.
Wow.
And you hit a high note, and that will be a synergistic resonancy that will accommodate us to universe as we come and go through the process essentially of like speciating up the hominoid line to where we'll come into a new relationship to the cosmos. But individually it can't be done. It has to be done for the whole system. 100 trillion cells in the human organism, Frank. 100 trillion, and every cell matters. In our social order, it doesn't matter so much. What you have to have is a system that is, in a systems way, liberating everybody, rather than just a few people who think they're liberated because they say they're liberated.
Well, that's what's going on. It's good for individual troops and groups, and that's why I've staged plays and done concerts and organized events and put on my show. And in my world, at my table, I have harmony, and we are
in your own mind. You want to see
in my company.
Okay, the company you keep.
Yeah, and the shows I stage and the shows I put on, the communications.
Yeah, I know.
I'm vibrating at a higher frequency, and I live in paradise.
Yeah, okay, that's wonderful.
I bless and pray for the people of Palestine and Afghanistan and Iraq, and I know they're living in hell. People who are Dick Cheney and these people have to go to jail for that, and the malfeasance must stop, and criminality must stop, and half my taxes and everything must stop bombing these people.
Do you think we're going to get to the... We live in James Joyce.
But they live in their fantasy. The president lives in their fantasy.
We live in that world too. And what about the people that are not able to come anywhere near realizing it because they're so caught up within this...
the majority of people watching TV worried.
Well, okay, but they're outdated or whatever, but they're not able to realize we do not live in a liberated world. We live in
I'm liberated. I'm trying to help us liberate. You're trying to help us liberate by this conversation and these things that you do, that we do live in a liberated world, because we are the designers and co-creators of the universe. We create our reality, and thank God for America. That's why I love this country, because I'm still able to breathe free and do what I want and criticize authority as I should.
But the we that you talk about is not we of the artistic table that sits around in and talks to each other and everything like that. We being the whole human society. We do not have leadership that is going to necessarily...
We have Thomas Jefferson, Kelso, what was this guy?
It isn't informing
energy is available.
Why are we still poised on the point? And I think it's just too...
leadership. Ralph Nader, Buckminster Fuller, great intelligent minds have the answer. They don't pay attention
with all due respect. I don't think there's anything in the way the universe is set up that says we're necessarily going to make it. 99% of the species that have evolved are dead and gone, and we may join entropy. There's nothing says you can't be. It's a fool's thing to say we're definitely okay, because we're not. We're on a razor's edge, and we haven't got it. And where is the leadership that's going to make it possible for there to be a qualitative transformation?
Right here, your leadership, my leadership. I want to plant fruit trees in my backyard and plant a garden and eat from my vegetables.
We want everybody to be able to plant fruit trees, not just you and me or a few. No, what I'm saying is not just a few. And that's why I asked you, because I think those weapon systems where all that money's going, I believe...
It's absurd.
Since different than the First or Second World War is I really believe from the modeling that they really are species lethal now. We've allowed these clowns to go off and do things.
Have you said on the show before, since 1970, we've had the guillotine hanging over our head where we can have mad, mutually assured destruction, and the planet is suffering this insane.
It's still there, and a lot of the weapons that may have brought down a lot of the people who look at the weapons.
The devil, devil's playground. But the angels, God is more important and more powerful than the devils.
Well,
the devil's playground is on earth, and we also have angels and God that's helping.
I know, but I don't want to resort to angels and things like that.
Well, fine. Those are just words you don't like. Fine, no problem. Whatever. There's a million words for the same thing. You know, you want to call it spiritual, psychic, or energy instead of biblical reference.
All of that. What that would be a tone. Capability.
Tone.
Okay, we need music.
No, I'm saying that atoms vibrate at a frequency.
Yeah, that's true.
And we are tone, energy.
That's string theory says that we're going there.
And we are vibrating what kind of frequency? Harmony or disharmony?
Do you think the weapon systems, if they were to be unleashed now, and it would be weapon systems beyond the thermal hydrogen weapons that are so obviously part of MAD and so forth.
These are firecrackers playing by bullies.
Other things at the level of germ. And also, there are weapons out of Black Ops that are wave.
That's so
absurd. And there may have been weapons such as that exist now that are ungodly, destructive of human beings.
But you know what? So what?
Let me ask you.
Replace the machine guns with the guitars and the pistols with harmonicas. The tanks with pianos. Come on, let's live in harmony here.
Do you think at the level of capability that those weapon systems may be now, unlike as recent as the Second World War, species lethal? If there was an unleashing of
lethal, they're planetary lethal. Are you kidding? Depleted uranium.
You think we have at our own hand the ability to destroy our species at our own hand?
Sure
we do. No, we haven't had that in the Second World War.
So what?
We were impotent. I just wonder if
this is a harmonica. I could bang it over your head and kill you.
I know.
I have the potential to kill you.
Could have done it.
So what? I'm not going to kill you?
No.
There's not weapons out there that nuclear bombs could blow off and destroy the planet. Yeah, but they're not going to blow off. We live in harmony and paradise.
Okay. Well, go on. Okay, if you want to say that, I think people have been saying that for a long time. A lot of the artists have been saying that for a long time.
Well,
and that kind of thing.
We live in peace. Yeah, there's threats, and the world is seriously dangerous. But I live in a happy world. I'm trying to make it happy.
You really want to see King of Hearts? Okay, you're going to promise you're going to see King of Hearts? You're going to get it from Netflix, brother? You're going to love that movie. I'll tell you, it's great. You're going to play a song? Hey, we got it rolling, do we? Do you have a piece of tape?
I have a movie here. This is my magnum opus called The Clothes Make the Man. It's harmonious, harmless. So they make and
it's wonderful. Maggie's in there.
The whole thing is about let's just look at a few minutes of this and take a little commercial break. So
okay, we only got about. How long is this rolling?
About 4 or 5 minutes.
Okay, can we set that up, fellas? He's got a little piece from Man Makes This Clothes. We got about 10 minutes left only.
10 minutes?
So we got to get it in quick.
Let's just get
so if you can get that tape rolling and put it on the tape, let's do that. We're talking with Frank Craven.
Clothes Make the Man. It's fun to
extraordinaire, citizen extraordinaire, trying to get a word in edgewise with this fellow, and waiting for the tape.
Interruptions with Carol
If you could put it up, interruptions with Harold. Yeah, that's what they say. So if you can run that tape, if you can't do it, maybe we'll start talking. Just start running it if you get it figured out.
This is a fun show. It's at the Lincoln Center Library.
Yeah.
7 languages, translated into verse.
Okay.
And I won at a film festival.
Well, I'm really happy for the fact you've got this. I want you to see The King of Hearts. I think that's good and everything. And but I just think I'm trying to make a brief or a case for the fact that this time, you say 2012, right?
Yeah.
2012 is a big year. People are looking for a singular moment. Oh, here we go with Man Makes the Clothes. So let's bring it in here. Can you pipe it in here? What is it? I don't.
Being the judge that I am, I have lost your case, but you have won quite grand. Fear not my heartache, vengeance or rue. This deal has been made fairly and true. No buts or excuses, for all is just fine. Just pardon my nuisance as I say goodbye. Magistrate! What, for 30 pounds of gold, I'd employ an army of servants. I'd have a mansion of stone. I'd go visit many merchants.
plan has backfired. I'm shocked. This is tragic and sad. He will not build the loading dock, and he won't buy the land.
I warned you this morning. It's really foul play. Now return me my clothing. I much prefer gray.
But you look rather lovely, so smart and so wise. Perhaps we could do something to merit prize.
Perhaps a free drink at the tavern and a lifting of skirts. But you know it's below my standard to be one who flirts.
I have wages enough for all. A stable of horses with carriages, with oats and flaxseed in every stall, and dowry enough for 2 marriages. What need have I for all these things? Just to
That's a major play. They're still playing in the background.
The clothes make the man, yes.
The clothes make the
You
man.
want to turn it off there?
There
Okay.
we go. It's back now.
Actually-
you arrest Bush.
Yeah, that's a T-shirt of clothing.
Dacajawea just got
Why not?
arrested. Did you know Dacajawea? You know
Well, I don't know,
Dacajawea?
but you see the back against trees,
Okay,
you know?
Article 2, Section 4, the President, Vice President, and civil officer of the United States shall be removed from office in impeachment for the conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors in the U.S. Constitution.
Yep.
You think there should be a trial of the Bush-Cheney complete?
Absolutely.
yeah.
The whole neocon cabal, Rumsfeld, Condoleezza Rice, swear, no, we had no idea they would have use of airplanes as weapons. It's absurd. These people are criminals and murderers.
Mm-hmm.
They've killed 343 firemen, 3,000 neighbors on 9/11, plus all the people of Iraq and Afghanistan. Bless you. Alhamdulillah. Salam. Peace in the world. We're sorry. We don't mean to bomb you.
Mm-hmm.
And Obama, please, you're probably going to have to be arrested too unless you close down Guantanamo and get out of Afghanistan right away. That's criminal. We do not believe in diplomacy,
Why
not,
do you
not
think
killing.
he's not taking the actions that you thought he was going to take?
Because he's
That he
afraid
might-
he want to end up like Kennedy. Are you kidding? He could
You
just
don't think-
reverse. The president, Zapatero, was replaced Aznar in Spain, and he took the troops out of Iraq
did.
immediately. A
Right.
president commands the troops go one way or the other. So Obama, he could say, I'm commander-in-chief. We're going to free the jails, free Mumia Jamal, free people who smoke marijuana, and liberate the jails and get the people home from Iraq and Afghanistan. The troops are coming home. We have peace in the world. We said diplomacy. Very simple. That's a commander-in-chief. But he's just probably, he's afraid, these people that put him in power, the pharmaceutical lobby that foster psychotropic drugs and drive people crazy, are saying you got to tout, CIA, I don't know. Maybe he's going to change, but he needs balls and brains and dignity, and so what if they kill him? He'll have a noble death. Like Kennedy or Martin Luther King or John Lennon. These people were assassinated by this monster that's running and ruining our country. How dare they? $704 billion a year to the Pentagon. That's absurd. It's a criminal.
I don't think it's that high.
No, that's what Amy Goodman reported yesterday on Democracy Now.
That's the figure, but in terms of the percentage of the gross domestic product, it's not as high as it was during Vietnam or any kind of periods in the
Whatever.
past.
We don't need it. We need peace in the world and love and communication.
Right.
I want to learn Afghani. Let the American people learn Arabic and say I'm sorry to the Arabic people and honor these people.
Yeah, rather than scapegoating them like they're trying to do now. Yeah,
It's
you got
absurd.
to find an enemy. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you notice after
Well-
communism failed in 1989, now the Pentagon has to justify its budget. So all of a sudden, instead of the Soviet communist threat, now the ugly jihad of the Arabic world has raised its ugly head, and suicide bombing and world terrorism has taken over. That's a construct that's perverted the Quran, because Muhammad would not authorize suicide, and he didn't believe in killing innocents.
The program that preceded this airing on Tuesday, that was with Niles Eldridge talking about evolution, so what's going on. The problem that's going to follow is going to be with the Ray Kurzweil, re-airing of Ray Kurzweil, talking about the cyber world and what's going on in the cyber world. Do you think there's hope in the communications and the development of extension of human consciousness in computers and cyber and means of communication? Do you think that's part of what's making a context where there can be a qualitative change and maybe something like the liberation That's we're coming to the end of an experience. We're coming into a new relationship, a liberation of the whole system, including the ecology.
We're already there.
Something
We
might
are
have to
totally
be-
liberated thanks
Then
to the
the-
internet.
this-
However, the government has controls of it, like in China and this country. You know, they're forwarding the emails and press releases. Cynthia McKinney, 9/11 Truth, during the elections, they sort of they censor the internet and they snowball you into thinking it's free, but it's not. But basically, of course, through computers and internet communication satellites, digital TV, we were going to recognize ourselves as one tribe, as one human family.
We are, and that's happening, and it couldn't have happened until we had that. So, dazzle gradually is a great poem by Emily Dickinson. You have to dazzle gradually, or every man be blind if it happened all at once. But we're going through the end of a period of. It's an amazing time to be alive.
It certainly
You
is.
could have lived in the 6th century, Frank. It took years.
I did. I was there.
decades.
I had lots of lifetimes.
Oh, you got the past.
We all
life.
have. We do past life regression therapy, and you
Oh.
will speak other languages, and you will remember. You know, just go into hypnosis, and it's proven. There's tons of books on reincarnation.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no need to doubt it.
Well, anyway, yeah, okay. Well, that's all stuff that I would rather kind of stick with the things that are going.
Okay,
and,
fine, whatever.
It would
But you
take-
know, reincarnated obligation
It
is
took
over.
decades.
Karma is over. We're in a whole new paradigm, as
Yeah.
you say, of awakened
a paradigm
awareness.
of
The-
paradigm shifts.
Yeah, our whole
Because it-
the whole karma of the
it
planet
affects-
and of human existence is now evolving to a new
Yeah.
shifting awareness
We
of
have the
existence,
abi- we-
coexistence with the universe.
We have the ability to join entropy and destroy our species, this line of hominoid that is unique in this time that you and I live. And we also have an equally existentially significant capability of abolishing the ancient scourges that have made such a difficult time for us to have an order that allows everyone to be involved, including the ecology. It's a time of a qualitative transformation, the evolution of universal consciousness, and there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, but there's also a lot of capability at the level of inchoate capability that makes this a very positive time that could be done. And it's his work. What's healing and what's healing and healing America gets to a lot of these things, and he touched on them. And it's Frank Craven. One of
Yeah,
new
the idea
poets.
is that there's a problem, there's a solution. To every poisonous plant, there's the antidote nearby in nature. And in human reality and society and politics and philosophy, there's an alien and a healing. And it's up to us to find this answer.
Why don't you want to play us out a little bit, Frank? Bring it up to me. Let's have the music, because the music really does soothe the savage beast. Frank Craven's his name.
God bless you, Harold Shannon.
God bless
Joe
you,
Friendly, Truth for Change, and Amy Goodman, Democracy Now!
Right.
Public Access TV, Eminent Studios, we love you.
All right, sing it, 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 sing it. Keep doing. There we go.
Sing it.
Now. All right. You heard it here first, folks. Frank Craven, Oracle Extraordinaire, and everything. And there may be more truth in what you